What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome back for another video. As you can see from the title of this video, we are installing an Autotech high pressure fuel pump on my car. I purchased this through my friends over at Integrated Engineering, and what this is going to allow me to do is, one, run more boost in this colder weather. I'll be able to supply a little bit more fueling, and two, start running the E40 blend. That's 40% ethanol, 60% 93 octane blend that should allow me to make race gas-ish power levels while running something that doesn't cost $73 for 5 gallons. So let's get this opened up, and then hopefully we're gonna get installing on the car today. My one fear is I'm not very good with little parts and pieces. I do not have surgeon hands like Dr. M3 does. This is actually going to be really anticlimactic as far as opening the box goes. Warning, do not break the seal on this box before you read the below information. 50% greater fuels. 50% more pressure. Autotech will not accept claims of cam follower failures. Yes, okay. So, if the cam follower fails because of this, which is, I'm not going to jinx it, but we do have a roller type cam follower, so it's not like GTI cam followers. If the cam follower fails, Autotech does not accept responsibility for it. Alright, well, all this unboxing was just for this little piece right here. That is a new piston for the high pressure fuel pump. First step here is going to be removing this 25 amp fuse that controls the fuel pump. My car's been sitting all weekend, so there's almost no fuel pressure built up. If you have had your car running, it's recommended to pull that and then let the car die. Start the car, run it, let it run out of fuel pressure and die. I'm using an Audi DIY. I'll put it in the description, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull that fuse now so the car doesn't prime the fuel pump while the door's open or whatever. Next step is going to be remove the intake because it's in the way, especially right here. Next steps here are going to be remove this bolt and that bolt. They're 10 mils, and that'll move this heat shield so that we can get to these two lines right here. Next step is going to be to get this guy loose. There will be fuel pressure built up even if you left the car all weekend like I did. Fuel is going to go everywhere, so make sure you have a rag covering that. It's much like changing the cam follower on a GTI. Same process. This is where the high pressure, well, this is where all the pressure builds up in this fitting, so if you don't have a rag under it, it's going to get fuel everywhere. Turns out that that low pressure line down there is a real pain in the butt, so I just undid it at the quick disconnect here, and there's going to be a lot of fuel that comes out of this line, just as a heads up. One very important tool you are going to need for this fuel pump removal is a triple square. This is not a Torx. This has 12 sides to it. You can buy a triple square set off of Amazon like I did. I just dropped it, so that's why it's all disorganized. You are going to need that for these bolts that hold the fuel pump in. These are triple square bolts. These are not Torx. You need a triple square for that. But once you do that, disconnect some lines, and now the fuel pump's out. 2 electrical connectors at the bottom. Both of them are just clip-in style, and this probably still has some fuel in it. That should drain it out. But next step is on this guy. Ever just go full send on something you probably shouldn't go full send on? That's me right now. Push down on the spring to take the retaining clip out. Jeff fixed it. We hit this with, what did we hit it with? This? Yeah. Yeah. We used this and a hammer on, where did it go?
This piece.
This piece, yeah. So caught it in, wow, that does not focus. There we go. Caught it in that little gap there. Hit it with this. And then, how did we get this out? We like leaned it over and pushed down on some screwdrivers, and
pushed down on it and it like unlodged itself.
You essentially have to drop it down and then slide it out, and pain in the ass. But now we got to get it back in at some point. But
should be easier.
Does the spring just?
Yeah.
Well. Oh, there we go. Okay, spring came off. So now that's the internals. This whole piece should come out. Alright, well, Jeff to the rescue again. This gets held in by the gasket right here. The gasket's what makes it difficult. So, if you don't want to be graceful and like really finesse it, we just wrapped a pair of vice grips around it and yanked it out, and this came with it. Now it's back in there, and I'm not going to be able to get that out with gloves on. But if you're anal and you don't want to do that, good luck, but that's what worked best for us.
Yeah.
This is all back together. We tightened it back down. And the one thing that I would note is there's going to be a picture on the screen. That's the order that you should put this back together. It's from the AudiZine thread, linked at the top of the description as well. But that's the order this should all go back together. And then obviously we're putting the spring on top of that and the retaining clip on top of that. And then everything should be back together. The reason we were having so much trouble before is we just figured out putting it back in. This piston was not pushed all the way up. So if you can somehow reach in there and pull the piston up without damaging it, obviously, you'll have a much easier time putting this top clip on. Same thing with putting the clip back in. If you lift the piston all the way up and then put the clip in, you should have enough room to do it without pushing down too much. The only thing that Jeff wants people to note is that this little clip does clip into the top of the spring as well. And if it's not clipped in, it may shoot somewhere when you put it back on the car. So make sure the clip is clipped in, and we're back in business. Alright, got home, got everything buttoned back up. The only thing that's not back in is the heat shield, because I want to be able to see if there's any leaks down in here. But did have to put the intake back in just to make sure that everything's good. This can pop right back out. I'm not really worried about that. But gonna start the car now and wake up all my neighbors, because it's 10 o'clock at night and my car's really loud. I should note, what you don't want to do right now is start the car. There's no fuel pressure built up, along with no fuel in the fuel pump. Now, I'm sure it probably wouldn't ruin anything, but what they like us to do is prime the fuel pump a couple times. So turn the car into the on position, or if you have a key, turn the key into the on position, wait about 5 seconds, turn it off, do it again. You'll hear the fuel pump priming. Do that 5 or 6 times, and then we should be good to start the car. 9:52 p.m. on a Sunday night. It's a school night. I'm so sorry, neighbors. Really excited about how this fuel pump feels. I will be making a video in the future because this fuel pump does enable me to run the E40 mix. So I'm going to be making an updated video on how the car feels on the ethanol mix. But even just now in the cold weather, I was running out of fuel up top. And with this fuel pump, the car pulls really strong to redline. I'm very impressed, very excited, and can't wait to really take advantage of the extra fuel this is supplying. If you have any questions on the install, leave them down below. Of course, I'll link the AudiZine DIY at the top of the description. That was super helpful for me. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Go out there and spread some positivity, and I will catch you guys in the next video.